Alright, let's see here. Let's see here. Let's get this pulled up. Alright, there we go. There we go. I finally got the comments pulled up. What is up, everybody? WonderBro here with Vacate Fear. Today we're going to get a little bit of a motivation stream done. We're going to get a little bit of a motivation stream done. So if you're feeling low, okay, if you are bowing to this anxiety still to this day, if this anxiety is controlling what you do and how you do it, your behaviors, right? We've talked a lot about behaviors, embodying the person you want to be, showing the brain, showing the mind that this anxiety isn't needed, showing the brain who you want to be, right? Despite this anxiety in the body, despite these thoughts that are trying to say otherwise, becoming the person you want to become. So today we're going to talk about that. What is up? Yo, what's good, man? Hey, bro, what's up, Wanderlust? What's up, Sanchez? Welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome. Um, let's see. Let's get a little bit of music going while we wait for some people to join us. How's everybody doing today? Hey, Wonder Bro, what's up, guys? Welcome to the stream. How you doing? I feel like I'm recovering each and every day. You are. You just got to stay on board, right? Let's notify the Discord one more time. Keep in mind, guys, keep in mind, right? If you're new here, because I know we've had like a recent growth in subscribers, okay? If you are watching the streams and you're like, I don't want to wait for people to join, like if you're watching them after they've already been uploaded, you can always skip like 4 or 5 minutes into the stream. You'll find the main point of the stream there. Don't be overwhelmed either by the length of the stream. We usually knock out whatever's in the title within 10-15 minutes. Wonder Bro, I fell asleep last night while the stream was on. You're grounded. Grounded. Come on, come on. Come on, come on. We're about to get started in just a second. We're about to get started in just a second. Alright, guys. Back to the tension. Alright, guys, we're getting ready to get going. We're getting ready to get going. Alright, guys. Alright, guys, let's get rid of that music. We don't have to be talking over that. Alright, guys, comments, save them for after the stream. If you have questions, save them for after the point of the stream, because I try not to pay too much attention to comments while we're going, right, so I don't get too distracted. So the point of today's stream is take back your power, okay? Take your power back from anxiety. Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing. This is why you're finding that difficult to do. You are in a sensitized body. You are in a sensitized mind, right? The mind and body in the sensitized state are more primed to overreact to everything, whether that be your life situation, whether that be your thoughts, your negative thoughts. You can even know that these thoughts are irrational, but the sensitized body overreacts to them. It's almost like the real you has been taken away, right? Who can agree to that? It's almost like the real you has been taken away. Now, this is where people get frustrated. This is where people get angry. This is where people get confused. This is where people start to feel helpless. They've got all these thoughts coming that once upon a time they could shrug off. They've got all these thoughts coming that once upon a time they would probably even laugh at. They've got all of these thoughts coming that, they used to be able to be reasonable about these things. And it's almost like they've lost that real them. They can't be rational with their thoughts anymore. These thoughts trigger the anxiety automatically. Some of these thoughts you even know are laughable, but yet here they are causing all this fear in the body, right? Even life situations, little things that you used to be able to enjoy, you can't really do anymore, right? Without it causing some anxiety. Even, like I said, just the little things. So it's almost like you've lost that sense of who you are. You've lost that real you, right? And that feels so real. It feels so real. You can take a step back and you can say, well, I know I'm not being logical. I know this is not rational. I know these are thoughts I used to be able to laugh at. I know I used to be able to do this and enjoy it. I know I used to be able to do that and enjoy it. It feels so real. Even though I know all of this stuff, it feels so real. And that's where people start to get frustrated. That's where people start to get angry. It feels like they are not who they used to be. And no matter how much they try to rationalize it, no matter how much they try to introduce logic to the situation, right? Which sometimes can be a good thing, but it's like no matter how hard you try, okay, it just doesn't seem to get you there. It doesn't seem to get you there. You're still this person that you don't want to be now, this fearful person that you have no idea who they are. You've lost touch with who you really are, right? So the thing is, when you are in this sensitized state, you are not going to feel like yourself. You're not going to feel like your old self. In fact, you're going to feel like that part of you is gone. But I'm here to tell you, okay, today, the main point of this stream, that real you, who you used to be and who you wish to become, that real you is still very much there. It's there. It's within you. Nothing has happened to it. Nothing has broken it. Nothing has took it away from you. I know it feels like that might be the case, right? I know that feels like that might be the case, but that real you is still very much there. You can't see it right now. Okay, you can know that this is irrational, you can know that this is illogical, but you still can't seem to see that real you. But I promise you, it's there. But you have to take your power back from anxiety. That means when your day starts tomorrow or when this stream goes off, instead of entertaining these negative thoughts that you know are not the real you, that you know your body's going to overreact to because that's what a tired body does. Instead of entertaining those negative thoughts, you got to get up and you got to do something that makes you happy, even if you don't feel like doing it, right? And now a lot of people say, well, I can't fake it while I feel this way. It's not faking it. We talked about this yesterday on the Facebook page. If I don't feel like being kind to my neighbor, but yet I am kind to my neighbor anyway, do we call that fake kindness? Oh, you were fake kind today. No, that's absurd. That's ridiculous. That's stupid. If I have a douchebag boss that is mistreating me and I stand up to him, right? Do we call that fake assertiveness? No, that's absurd. That's stupid. Why would you call it faking it? To live independently of this anxiety. The false alarm is going, these stupid thoughts are triggering you, right? But you're showing the brain with your behaviors, your chin held high and a smile on your face, that this is not necessary. Why would we call that faking it? It's stupid to call it faking it. What it's called is taking your power back from anxiety, spitting in the face of anxiety, right? As long as your brain sees you running in circles, trying to figure all this out, okay, getting involved with all this, believing all of this, reacting to all these feelings, staying defeated, as long as the brain sees this, this is how you will feel. If you want your feelings to catch up, okay, with this new you, then you need to adopt this new you and become this new you and live as if you are this new you, because you are. Now you're just waiting for the brain to catch up, right? If you want to feel better, if you want to heal, if you want to prove to your brain that this anxiety is not needed, that these thoughts are stupid, then you need to stop trying to do all this crap up here. Realize that Everything that's going on up here is just a symptom of being in the sensitized state. Instead of putting so much energy up here, you need to put that same amount of energy into your behaviors, into acceptance, into carrying on with your day, showing the brain with your posture, with your, the way you go about your day, the way you get things done, the way you do things in a calm, confident manner, okay, with your back straight and your chin held high and a smile on your face. You need to show your brain that this anxiety isn't needed. And again, this is not faking it. This is showing your brain that this anxiety is bullshit, right? And there's nothing fake about that, my friend. So if you want to take your power back from anxiety, this is how you do it. You stop trying to figure all this out up here. This will take care of itself as soon as the body heals. This will catch up, okay, as soon as the body heals. How do you heal the body? By showing your brain that there is nothing to be afraid of. So you have two choices when you get an irrational thought and then you're triggered by all of these feelings. You can sit there defeated like this with a big hunch in your back, maybe jump on Google, maybe jump on the forums, right? Or you can say, you know what? I'm being lied to. This is a bluff. This is not the real me. I am not capable of being rational right now because that is a symptom of being in a sensitized body. But I'm going to show my body, instead of trying to argue with it, I'm just going to show it that this is bullshit and that this isn't needed. If you want to be whoever you want to be, then start being that person, right? You can't wait until the feelings catch up and then I'm going to become the person I want to be. Then I'm going to walk with my chin held high. I'll wait until this anxiety goes away and then I'll go get this housework done and I'll go walk my dog and I'll talk to my girlfriend and I'll do all these things that I enjoy doing and I'll live independently, right? You can't wait until the feelings go away to do that stuff. If you want the feelings to eventually fade away, right? And if you want the brain to catch up, you have to do all that stuff first. It doesn't work in reverse. We see a lot of people for years and years and years, they sit around, right? And they Google and they get on the forums and they entertain all this bullshit up here and they're putting no energy or effort into becoming the person they want to feel like, right? It does not work that way. You cannot wait for the feelings to go away to start to be the person you want to be. You got to start being the person you want to be, and the feelings will catch up and the brain will catch up. It does not work in reverse. So the more time you spend sitting around doing nothing, the more time you spend sitting around doing the same thing day after day after day in this anxiety-ridden cycle that you're in, you're going to get more or less the same. You have to understand. You have to understand that if you want to feel the way that you know you deserve to feel, you have to show that to the brain. The brain is looking to you for answers. And with the way that you're behaving and going on with your days, it's just doing what you're telling it to do. It's doing what you're telling it to do. It does not know any better. This is how a brain works. And this is why people get stuck in the cycle. Okay? This is why people get stuck in the cycle. They sit around and they fight their feelings and they fight their thoughts, but they're putting absolutely no energy into embodying with their behaviors the person they want to feel like. Right? So they get nowhere because they're up here and it's a back and forth. It's a stressful fight, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And they're sitting around with these negative behaviors while they do this back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. They're putting no energy, no effort into becoming the person they want to feel like. Right? There's no energy being spent in becoming the person they want to feel like. All the energy is being spent up here in this useless battle. If you want this to catch up, right? If you want this to catch up, and if you want your feelings to catch up, then you have to become the person you want to be before all of this catches up, right? You can't sit around and wait for these feelings to go away to become the person you want to be. It does not work that way. You have to become the person you want to be and feel like, and then the feelings will catch up, and then the brain will catch up, and then the brain will learn. It will never, has never, ask anybody, has never worked the other way around. You've got to stop worrying about what's going on up here, realize you're being bluffed. You got to stop worrying about what's going on in the body, realize that's a false alarm, and just become and live like the person you want to feel like, and the brain will catch up in big or small ways. Everything from your from your posture, to the way that you speak, to the way that you go on about your day, to the little wink that you give yourself in the mirror as you're brushing your teeth, right? You have to stop showing the brain fearful, negative, defeated behaviors if you want the brain to catch up. And that's why you can do all the Googling in the world, you can do all the forms that you want to in the world, but as long as you are behaving in a negative or fearful manner, the brain is going to assume that you want more or less the same, and it's going to give you more or less the same. So you've got to stop. You've got to break out of this matrix. You've got to break out of this cycle. The brain is waiting on you, right? You can't say, well, when these feelings and thoughts leave me alone, then I'll become the person I want to be. You got to become the person you want to be now, and the feelings and the brain will catch up to you, right? It will never, like I said, has never worked the other way around. Take it from me. I spent years on Google, sitting in the same spot almost every single day. Google, negative behaviors, fearful posture, negative behaviors, fearful posture. I wasn't getting on with my days. I wasn't keeping my chin held high. I wasn't showing my brain what it wanted to see. And guess where that got me? Nowhere. Right? Nowhere. So I know you don't feel like behaving like the person that you want to feel like. I know you don't feel like doing it, but that's the point. You're breaking out of the matrix. You're breaking out of the cycle. You're showing the brain that even though the mind is doing its negative thing and the body's doing its negative thing, it's not needed anymore. I'm over here, right? I'm over here. So you can continue to behave like the person you don't want to feel like, and you'll continue to feel like the person you don't want to feel like, I promise you. But you have that option. You have that choice. So the feelings are there. The mind is doing its thing, the body's doing its thing, you're being lied to, you're being bluffed, everything is being over exaggerated because that's what happens in a sensitized body. And you continue to use negative behaviors. You continue to use fearful behaviors. Every day it's the same thing. You wake up in the morning, you slug through your day with all these fearful negative behaviors. Maybe you hit Google once or twice, you get on the forums, you slug around your day. Your head's not picked up, you're not smiling at all, you're just, here comes anxiety, so you sit back in your chair and you do one of these, and then you make yourself eat a little bit, right? And then you go and you take a piss and you come back, and it's just, you're not listening to your music that you used to enjoy. You're not doing any of your old hobbies, even if it's just drawing on pen and paper. You're not doing anything that you used to enjoy. You're not doing anything positive. You're not smiling. You see what I'm saying? Well, guess what? You're going to get more or less the same. You can't wait for the feelings to go away to be the person you want to be. It'll never work that way. It never has worked that way, and it never will work that way. If you want to feel better, you got to act like you want to feel. And then the brain and the feelings will catch up. Like I said earlier, if I don't feel like being kind, but yet I go to my neighbor and I'm kind to my neighbor, do we call that fake kindness? Fuck no, we don't call that fake kindness. I was still kind. Even though I didn't feel like being kind, I was still kind. Nobody's going to come along and say, that's fake kindness. That's stupid. That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. That's fake kindness. Just because you have a feeling doesn't mean that feeling has to impact the way that you behave or the way that you live. And if you want your brain and body to catch up, you got to start behaving and acting the way that you want to feel. Because the brain is looking at you for guidance, right? So again, just because I feel a certain way doesn't mean I have to act that way. And as long as I continue to act that way, I will continue to get more or less of the same feelings, right? Feeling follows action. Feeling follows action. Feeling follows action. And again, for the third time, I do not want to hear the excuse that, oh, well, that's faking it. Just because you have a feeling and you act independently of that feeling doesn't mean you're faking it. It means that you've broken away from being a puppet on fucking strings, right? If somebody's kind because they don't feel like being kind, do we call that fake kindness? No. If somebody is assertive even though they feel scared, do we call that fake assertiveness? What the fuck? All right? So the brain is looking for you, looking at you, right? You logically know that you're being bluffed. You logically know that this is bullshit. You logically know that this is irrational, but you can't tell that to the brain. You can't say, "Hello, brain, you're being irrational right now." You know what the brain will say? "Fuck you. I don't give a shit." Right? So if you want to show the brain that it's being irrational, if you want to show the brain that this is not how you want to live, then you do that through the only language that the brain understands, right? And what is the only language that the brain understands, chat? Behaviors, actions, right? Behaviors and actions. Behaviors and actions. Get on with your day. Pick the chin up. Smile more. Listen to your favorite song. Hell, even sing and dance to it even though you feel like shit. Because guess what? Just because you're experiencing a feeling doesn't mean you're being held hostage and being forced to behave a certain way. You can live and act independently of your feelings. And you know what happens when you do that and you do that long enough? The brain says, hey, you know what? Maybe we should match the feelings with the action. That is a big one. Remember that. Write that down. You live a certain way long enough, and the brain says maybe we should match the feelings with the action. How do you think you ended up in the sensitized boat to begin with? If you look back on your past long enough, you will see that you had very negative behaviors. You'll see that you had very fearful behaviors, and maybe they were in little small ways, but I guarantee they were still there, right? And eventually the brain said, you know what? Maybe we should match the feelings with the action. So what we see is we see everybody waiting around to feel better, and then I'll get back into my hobbies. Then I'll listen to my favorite song. Then I'll start to smile more. Then I'll start to walk with confident posture. Then I'll start to speak up, right? And that day never comes. That day never comes. They keep waiting and waiting and waiting to feel confident instead of behaving confidently, and then the feeling of confidence comes. That's how it works, not the other way around. Not the other way around, chat. So that was my rant for today. If you want to feel better, you got to stop coming up with all the excuses. You got to stop trying to make sense of all this up here. You just got to start to behave like the person you want to feel like. And if you do that long enough, you will start to feel like that. Okay? And again, it makes no sense to call it faking it. Just because somebody acts independently of a feeling, we don't call that faking it, right? We would never call that faking it in any other sense of the word. Why are we doing it now? Makes no sense. If you want to feel like the person you want to feel like, you got to become them. You can't wait for the feelings to leave you alone and then I'll be confident. You can't wait for the feelings to leave you alone and then I'll be, brave and confident and anxiety free. You got to act as if you already feel that way, and guess what? The brain will match that. The brain will match that. It wants proof that you're okay. Give it that proof. Just because you feel a certain way doesn't mean you've lost your free will, right? Does not mean that you have lost your free will. So if you're feeling unmotivated, if you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling a way that you don't necessarily want to feel, you need to accept that, of course. Acting the way you want to feel is not saying that you're not accepting it. You accept the way you feel. You're not adding fuel to the fire. Instead, you're living independently of it, right? And that's the ultimate acceptance right there. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed this stream. Take something from it. If you're sick of living this way, you have every bit of strength in you to choose a new path with your behaviors, right? And I know it's not easy. I know it doesn't feel good necessarily, but understand that the brain will catch up. All right, you guys. Jesse, thank you so much for the $40 donation, bro. I appreciate you. I did see it, but I was like mid rant, so I didn't want to stop mid rant. Thank you so much for the $40 tip, Jesse. You hit tip goal by yourself, dude. I appreciate it. Thanks, man. Let's get that added. Thank you, Jesse. Thank you. All right, guys. You know what time it is. After every stream, especially one where I go that ham, I gotta have a smoke. So we're gonna have a smoke. Have to find your purpose and fight for it. No one will do it for you, unfortunately. There's help out there to guide you, but you'll have to put the work in. Exactly. You got to put the work in. You got to put the work in. Okay? You got to do it for you. You got to do it for you. You can't wait for somebody to come along and say, I support you in this journey, right? It's good to have support. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here, right? But you can't wait until you've got this big crowd of supporters and all the universe working behind you before you say, you know what, it's time to act and live independently of these bullshit feelings. You can't wait for that day to come, because I promise you, for most of us, that day doesn't come. Right? When I first started, I didn't have this channel. I didn't have this community. I was a dude in his bedroom on a mattress pissing in 2-liter bottles with an inch layer of dirt on his skin, who couldn't make it from his bed to the sink because he was so dehydrated and malnourished. I didn't have jack shit in my corner. Sure, my family would have been supportive if I asked for it, but I didn't. Because to me, it was like, what can they do for me? I got to do this for myself. Right? I got to do this for myself. I got to do this for myself. You can't wait. You can't wait until conditions are perfect to get going. You want to feel better, get going. And it happens with small and big behaviors throughout your day. The way you carry yourself, the things that you do, right? It's time to embody the person you want to be. How do you deal with real life pressure? Understand that if you're sensitized, real life pressure is being made 100 times worse than it actually is, right? So you need to work on healing. So in your example, my boss just called me and he's looking for results, a sale. Okay, so what would a person who's confident in his ability to sell, what would they behave like? Picture that in your head and start to live like that, and the brain will catch up, right? Hey, Wonder Bros, anxiety dangerous? Is anxiety danger is going to happen? Reword that, and I'll try to answer that. Reword that, and I'll try to answer that. See, the mind will make excuses, guys. The mind will say, "Well, I've got nobody in my corner. I don't have all the support in the world. These thoughts might happen. These thoughts might come true. What's the point?" The mind will make all these bullshit excuses, but if you want to feel better, you get going. You embody the person you want to feel like, and the brain will catch up regardless. Stop letting the mind make these excuses and let's get going. And it starts now. It starts with becoming, with your behaviors and the way you carry yourself and the things that you do, the choices you make throughout your day. Show the brain it's bullshit, right? Show the brain it's bullshit. You cannot wait on all the support in the world. You cannot wait for conditions to be perfect. You just got to make the choice that you want it and get started, right? And I know that it's like punching through an imaginary wall. I get it. You might not even have that much faith in this, but what do you have to lose, right? What do you have to lose? Accept the feelings for what they are. Don't fuel them, but understand that you can live independently of them and the brain will catch up. I get symptoms, then a negative thought I want to get out. So hopefully you were listening to everything we just said, because I don't care if it's health anxiety or what it is, right? This is the way to go, in my opinion. And if you're here and if you're going to listen to my advice, and if you want to use my opinion, all right, it doesn't matter what excuses the mind is making. If we're talking about anxiety, this is the way that I believe that you need to go. So if you're here and you want to give this a go, then give it a go and you'll see what happens. And understand, again, I'm not pulling this out of my ass, right? This is years worth of research. This is coming from multiple sources. This is coming from my own personal experience. This is coming from the successes that I've seen here on the channel. This is not just me saying, "Hey, here you go. Here's a bunch of bullshit." This is years of experience, years of research. This is coming from Dr. Claire Weeks. This is coming from all these great different outlets. This is coming from my own personal experience. This is coming from all the success that we've had here on the channel, right? You don't just have to take it from me, right? I see all the time looking for support on the forums and on Facebook, looking at me. Exactly. Exactly. Now, I'm not saying you should feel ashamed for looking for support. Understand that this has nothing to do about shaming anybody. This is me telling you that you don't need what you think you need to get better, right? All you need is yourself and the willingness to move forward with what you now know, right? That's all you need. That's all I'm saying. That's all you need. You know you're being bluffed. You know you're being lied to. You know this is not the real you. Well, if you want to become the real you, it's time to start acting like the real you, right? All right, guys. I'm going to switch back over in just a second. Understand you're being lied to if you're sensitized, Amanda. Not necessarily lied to, but the body's being overreactive, right? The real you would probably shrug this off. The real you would probably be much more rational. So sensitization will do that to you. Sensitization will do that to you. It'll make you irrational, and you can't force that logic. You just have to embody the person that you want to be, and the brain will catch up, and you'll be laughing at everything that used to scare you, right? I know you can't glimpse that right now, but you'll be able to the sooner you get started. The sooner you get started, you'll be able to. All right, guys. So here's what I'm going to do. Okay. This was a motivation stream. This was a high energy, high impact stream that I hope people, you know, take something from and start putting in that work and start showing the brain that this anxiety isn't needed, right? But here's what I'm going to do. Unfortunately, I'm going to go ahead and end it here. I know we're only 30 minutes into it, but whenever I do these motivation type streams, I like to keep them nice and short for people that want to watch them after they've been uploaded, right? Because it's a lot less intimidating when people see a 30-minute upload as opposed to a 2-hour upload. They're more likely to check it out. So I'm going to go ahead and end it here because this is a message that I want everyone here on the channel to hear. All right? I love you guys. You guys are awesome. If you want to feel like that person that you dream of, go ahead and start being that person, right? Go ahead and start being that person, and I will see you guys in the next stream and or video. Get started right now. You drop the bullshit excuses, get started. You can do it. I believe in you. Let's get going. All right. I love you guys, and until next time, try to get a good one. That'll have to do. Until next